Greetings and gratitude to all life forms and life workers who have found this Channeling and Demystified video. I, E.Ts, the Third-Eyed Lion, have been channeling here on this channel for about 2 years now. I've been channeling off this channel for about 3 years formerly, and my channeling goes back to childhood even farther. So I would like to just help demystify channeling to add some information and to let you all know how I do my channeling, my unique blend. I openly admit that channeling is a unique experience for each person. The way you channel oftentimes is not the way that others channel, and this is perfectly fine. I will, in this video, be sharing how I channel and how I've seen others channel. And hopefully this information will help you find a synthesis, find your own mix of these things. So, channeling, by definition, is to control or manipulate the flow of some form or of energy. It's to create a channel. Or a channel is a place where energy is controlled and manipulated as a location. What I do is channeling as a verb, which is the act of allowing cosmic information in through my field, out through my body in some way, either writing, talking, singing, cooking, dancing, signing, any number of ways that I allow these unconditional love energies that I work with of different unique frequencies in and allow them to change and affect the mass collective here on this planet. So, for me, this is my technique for channeling, and I'll give some other ones as well. So, what I do is a semi-trance channel. So, I go about 90% channel. By this, I mean I surrender my ego, I surrender my heartbeat, my breath, my posture, everything besides my speech pattern, my vocab, and my subconscious. That's the 10% that remains. And the rest of all the mental abilities that we just use to be human, breathing, speaking, and such, I surrender. So during this time, which is all the time, I generally operate as a cosmic ego or a unity ego, where what I consider the I is tapped into all the I's that ever have or ever will exist. And I do this so I can be one with the infinite field of everythingness. And this helps me bring in the most powerful words in my channeling. So I also use cards in my channeling. So the symbols of the cards amplify the messages and helps me find more exactly what the message is discussing. Because oftentimes the channeling is loose, but when I have a card image to go off of, it's a more tight and concise message. I use 8 different decks in my videos because I work with 8 different entity groups very often, and each of them has a very unique frequency, which I have 8 decks, one to correspond to each of these groups. And I do this on a daily basis, all the time in my life, and especially when I give services here on the internet. And then the second type of channeling I use is a full trance channel. So what this is I go into a deep trance state. I surrender, deep breaths, and then I astral travel. I take my consciousness and I leave this dimension and I go to the realm of the being that I'm communicating with. They bring me into their body and I bring their consciousness into my body. They still have my breath, my speech pattern, me, and my aura, but my choices, my idiosyncrasies are not as potent. And for multiple reasons, I do not remember these, so I record them and release them here on this channel. And I do this because I only remember what's happening where I am. So as an example, I work with the elf consciousness or the elf collective. So when I do a trance channel, I communicate with an elven individual in the 5th dimension or higher in a unity mind. I find them, communicate with them. They allow me to go into their elven body in their place and time that they operate from. They come into my body in my place and time where I'm operating from. And they share messages with other humans here, or they share messages that are recorded for me later. And I oftentimes create jewelry and do divination in their bodies to their friends and to the people in their environment. So when they come back, they generally do not remember what I did, and I don't remember what they did. But we can feel the echoes of it, though, even though we may not remember it. And if somebody reminds us of what is said, we remember instantly. So this is how I do it. This is based on excitement, on joy, on passion, on laughter. I call up an entity group that I know that I'm going to be working with. I do not let any entity groups come in. I have a series of battery of tests in which to clarify that they're excited, they're loving, they're compassionate, they're accepting. And certain qualities I like to work with, and sometimes I bring in entities that don't meet these qualities. But I do that in controlled situations with other channelers, and something that I still feel comfortable allowing these entities into my body so I can feel the full spectrum here on this planet. So this is what I do. I hope that helps for someone. But what I have seen others do, and here's some other types of channeling. One is automatic writing. So you go into a calm state, not quite trance, but a state of calm. You call in the entity you're working with, and you let them use your non-dominant hand to write messages for you. You can use cardistry, based on what I do, is either create your own cards or use an existing deck and apply the symbols during your channel. Another way of channeling that is common is the full entity channeling. So you develop a partnership with an individual entity or a group, and you completely surrender yourself to them. They speak through you, but they refer to you. And you are aware and remember what they're saying like an audience member. You're not astraled in another dimension, you're astraled in the same room. And you're just witnessing what is happening through your body. And another type of channeling would be painting or sketching or cooking. These are the consumable channelings. So these messages are there, but oftentimes they're more physical messages that hold a lot of energy, dense energy. But because they're consumable or temporary art, we oftentimes don't want to see them in their full channeled complexity. And another way of channeling that I have witnessed that helps is through music. Create music, create sound, create frequencies that don't mean anything, that don't have any definitive idea just yet, and create them and then decipher them later. And channel them out like a river flowing underground, and know that the energies of channeling is infinite. And we always have ways to be a channel, to bring forth the divine information through us in a way that only we can. So the one message I want to leave of any channeler is by forcing to be like someone else, by not accepting the way you are doing it is perfection, is what prevents the channeling from its full glory. And any fear or doubt or anxiety or code or programming of any kind that prevents you from loving channeling, prevents you from being excited about doing it, know that those are there to remind you of where you're short-circuiting. The idea is it's a fault light. The fault light tells you there's a fault, but doesn't tell you how to fix the fault. And so these negative emotions tell you there's a fault, but you have to experience the fault so you can diagnose it and improve it. So I hope these tips have helped, and know that the entities you wish to make contact with wish to make contact with you as well. All of these entities are aspects of yourself. There's nothing external. All there is the power of the infinite that we all hold inside. Much love and gratitude to you all.